shit. Hello, hello, hello. We are back on another episode of Shit Happens, where shit always happens. Like I think I'm about to drop my okay, there we go. Shit was about to happen right now, right now. Oh my god. And we already have a guest over there. Hey Soda. So we have a special guest. If Soda is already in the comments, right on right on the start. But the guest I have today, and that's why I have my podcasting morning chat, because that's how I met him. And Sadia's gonna distract me. She says she's ready for this shit. Are y'all ready for this shit? But my guest today is a very special friend of mine, and we're gonna talk about something that I have been battling back and forth, and he's actually doing it, so I'm excited. I've known him through podcasting morning chat. It's been a process getting him on Shit Happens, right? So when he finally did the booking, I was like, oh my god, we're finally doing this, which I'm glad, because as I've mentioned, we're going to be taking a little break after March, so I'm glad I get to do it with him before I take that break. But without further ado, let me go ahead and bring Mr. Sid Meadows up. Oh shit, what did I do? Oh, there we go. Hey Sid, welcome to Shit Happens, where shit is always happening. Oh, then I think I muted you. Oh, I did. Can you?
Okay, I'm unmuted now. So good morning. It's great to be here with you and all the craziness already, 2 minutes in.
I think it's already kicking in, you see? So what's in the tea? That's a good question, because
Yeah, you told me to bring in my favorite drink, so I got my mimosa for this morning.
I mean, but
Cheers.
the colors are almost the same, you see?
Yep. Got a little cranberry juice in mine.
Me too. Cranberry as well. Cheers.
Cheers.
So how are you doing this morning, Sid?
I'm doing great. It's Saturday. It's beautiful outside. The rain has gone away. It's going to be probably at 65 degrees and sunny, not a cloud in the sky today. So great day to be outside.
Yes, it feels like this spring. I don't know about you're in Texas, right?
Yes.
You guys already lately your weather has been also very bad. We in Atlanta, we have a bipolar weather. 1 minute in the morning it's so hot, and then it's so cold, and then it's raining. Like you can get 4 seasons in one day in Atlanta.
That can happen in Texas too, friend.
Exactly. That's why I said Texas lately has kind of been hijacking Atlanta, because even you guys got snow last year. I'm like, I think Texas is about to up Atlanta in the bipolar weather. Global warming. What the hell is going on?
It's a real thing. That's for sure.
But Sid, Mr. Furniture, by the way, I'm still waiting for that video of your home decor, which I have not received yet. But
oh yeah, I need to do that. You asked me to do like a walkthrough of my house. Well, we just ordered some new stuff. So I'm gonna wait till it comes in and then I'll do it. So how's that?
Thank you. And so that we don't care about you LA people. It's too hot anyways in LA. Like if I had to go to stay in a heat 24/7, I think I'll also die. Like you want the summer to come, and then when the summer gets and you're like, it's too hot to actually be outside and do shit, because you just want to stay at home. You're like, what is going on?
You need to be in Texas in August.
Is that good or bad? Am I burning to hell?
Yes, you're gonna fry because it's so hot here in August and September. It's miserable.
So it's funny that you guys, it's August, but us it's like June, July, which I hate it because June is my birthday and I want to be in the pool 24/7. And it's like, why now? Like,
well, it's still hot in June. Don't get me wrong. It's hot in June and July, but it's really hot in August.
Gotcha.
Like really hot, like above 100 degrees almost every day of the week.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm never moving to Texas. And I've been thinking about Austin lately. Like, maybe Austin should be a cool place for me to move.
You would fit in well in Austin. It's a trendy, vibey place. I think you'd do well there. Lots of people, though. Oh, my gosh. Lots of people.
Everybody tells me, whenever I say either Nashville or Austin, they're like, yeah, we can see you blending in there.
You have to get your country vibe on to be going to Nashville.
But I don't you know, Sid, I love country. Like if you watch the some of my music videos that I put out, it's always
Mhm.
country music. I had a manager. She was white, and she was like, "Paula, I'm the blackest white. I'm the whitest white, and I don't even listen to country. How the fuck do you love country?" I'm like, I don't know. I love country music. I love country movies. I've always wanted a country boy, like, but then everybody's telling me don't go to Nashville to find a country boy because they're all trying.
No, yeah, that's too funny. Oh my goodness. So what are we talking about today?
We are gonna girls' night in Austin. Soda already has questions for you. Soda, chill out first. Let's first get to the conversation. Soda is ready for you, Sid. I don't
Obviously,
know, man.
I might need to go pour a double shot here.
But so for those who don't know, right? Sid is a veteran office furniture guru. And it's so amazing because when I look at the furnitures of Thinkspace, right, I feel like I want every shit. Like it's so modern and tech, especially for a podcast. I remember the one which you can like a booth and everything is like. And then I look at the price. I'm like, never mind. Clearly this was not meant for me. But and you have a podcast called oh my god, Soda has been commenting. I've even forgotten to put your shit over there. Soda is distracting, but we appreciate you being here, Soda, and I love you. So I remember, and I want to say this on live, even though I said it yesterday, but I feel like people need to hear me say this. Don't apologize, girl. Keep on commenting over there. I never paid attention to, actually, whenever I would go to the Podcasting Empowered room and whenever Sid would talk, I would always pay attention. And he has this way of talking to you in a calm, even when you're being scolded, but he does it in a calm way. If he's calling you out on your bullshit, he does it in a way that you know he's calling you out, but it comes in a very peaceful, humble place instead of where when some people tell you like, damn man, can you like tone it down? Can you like give me a break? But and he always has this thing I would say, so I have a question for you. And I already know that there's some shit coming, like, but it's always things that make you think. Like, why didn't I think of that? Like, oh my God, like, why didn't I? So I would always listen to him in the Empowered room, which is our clubhouse room, but I've never listened to his podcast because I was like, furniture, like, and when I saw the furniture he deals with, I was like, that's not even on my bracket, my tax bracket, like, so I don't even want to listen to this because I'm just gonna daydream. And that's the reason why I also took out Pinterest from my app, because you see all this shit in Pinterest and you're like, I put them in a folder, I want this, I want this, I want this, and then I'm like, this is annoying because I want everything and my bank account does not allow that. But then I listened to an episode that we were talking about in the evening chat and you sent me the link. And I was amazed, inspired. I was like, oh, damn, I need to listen to more episodes because it's more about people. Yes, it's people in the industry, but it's also people's journeys. And with like the way you bring the furniture with people's journeys and stories, like it's such a way that you even forget they're talking about furniture right now. So that to me was like, oh wow, I really need to stop. And even though we preach this, sometimes we do it, even though we preach it and we say, don't judge a book by its cover. I was judging your podcast by its cover, literally. And I ended up, so thank you. And with that, it brings to me why we are here today. You are on your last season. You are ending your podcast. And that's the place where, and I remember we all were sad, and especially since we've gone with Dominic through this, and then it never ends. And then now you are, and you're like, oh, you're actually doing it. You're not like Dominic was teasing us and then coming back. And you said something to me. Sometimes you have to know when the time has come to end something, right? So I want to talk about that journey. Like, what made you realize that this is the time for this podcast to come to an end? Because I just found it. So I'm like, you know, when you find your favorite, like your new show, and you find out, oh, after that season, that's the end. It came to an end. You're like, no.
Well, but remember, there's almost going to be almost 200 episodes you can go listen to in the catalog, right? You only listened to episode 97 with Brandon Rayburn, which is a really, really great episode, but there's a lot to listen to. lot to listen to. So
I
you can
know.
keep listening.
I binged. I actually binged on 3 other
Oh,
episodes, and yeah, I binge. And these days I've been that person because lately I've gone into this. I was tired of constantly we are asking for reviews, but then me myself I'm not giving reviews, and
oh,
I had to check myself. I was like, how can we be begging people to give us reviews
mhm,
when was the last time you actually left a review for somebody, right? When
yep.
was the last time you listened? So I started doing this thing where mostly on Tuesdays and sometimes on weekends, depending, but Tuesdays are dedicated in the morning or in the evening to listen to people's
Oh,
podcasts and
I
leave
love that.
reviews, right? And sometimes when I find an episode, and I would put it on Facebook and tell them to send me a link of their favorite, because sometimes maybe people have a specific one. Just
Sure.
like you send me a link of the one I needed to listen, and it made me go listen to others. So
Oh, that's
that's how I
great.
like when you send something. So some people sent theirs on my Facebook post, and sometimes I'll just go and pick. But then once I like something, I'm like, okay, let me listen to the next one and
So
see. And
what
then the
other
next
two
one.
did you listen to?
Oh my God. There was a lady. What was her name? And I should have written this
What
down.
was it
She said
about?
it.
Do you remember what the topic was about?
No, I'm
Oh,
trying to.
okay. That's a
But I'll
fine.
come back to it. I will
Yeah.
remember. Because lately I've been listening to too many podcasts. And this
Oh,
is
yeah.
funny because I am those few podcasters who never listen to anybody's podcast. I don't even
Mhm.
listen to my own. Until when I started this review thing, I was like, I even have friends, because most of my friends are in the podcasting industry, right? And I'm
Yep.
like, I've never listened to their podcast. So I
Mhm.
have literally started Tuesdays, I listen to like 10
Good for
episodes
you.
of podcast and look at that. Mark is here.
Mark's in
Good
the
morning,
house.
Sid and Paul. So
All right,
let's
so I'm
get
going
back
to
to
ask
my
you a question.
question.
Yeah, I'll
No,
ask you a
no, no,
question.
no. No, you're not going to ask me a question.
No, I said I'm going to answer it. I said I'm going to
Oh,
answer
okay,
it. I'm going to
okay,
answer your question.
okay.
So I think I heard Dominic talk about that he was ending Black is America, and it just got me thinking, like, what is the future of my podcast? Like, what is it that I want to do with it? And I love my show. I mean, it is my pandemic baby that I had no idea what was going to happen when I started it. I certainly didn't believe that we would be launching episode 136 on Monday, right? That just like 136 episodes. You're kidding me? That's not going to happen. But something in my soul just said, you know what, Sid, it's time to pause this. It's time to take this chapter, because life is about chapters, right? We are all in different stages, different parts of our life, different chapters of our life. And it just felt good to me to say, hey, it's time to close this book. It's time to end this chapter, if you will. And so it wasn't anything that I said, okay, 5 years later, I'm going to end it. It was just a feeling after listening to Dominic talk about it that I thought, you know what? It's the time. I'm really busy. I got a lot of stuff going on. I love my podcast. I love the conversations that I have, but it's time to pause it, time to end it, close the chapter in the book, if you will.
um, so I have an issue with endings, right?
Yep.
Like and this is crazy because it comes in my life as well. Like even when friends or relationships, they need to come to an end, but pulling that trigger to
Mm-hmm.
actually end it, that's my issue. So how are you feeling emotionally? And because as you say, that was your baby, and most of the time when our babies, especially, I'm like you, my baby started in pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And most of us who started shit in pandemic, after life kind of started opening up, very few people kind of continue with those things that they started. Like, I mean, look at Clubhouse, right? During the pandemic, it was where everybody hanged
Yep.
out because we had all this time. And then life happened, and I realized I still want to do this little
Mm-hmm.
hobby or project, which was just meant to be a pandemic to keep me busy. And then now it's coming time to really say goodbye to it. So how are you feeling emotionally? Because you are recording your last season. So you're recording even though in your head, like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
God. Like,
So there's a couple of answers to this question. First off, I'm focused on making this the best season that I can possibly make this season. With the right guests, the right content, thanks to Mark's help, some additional content, right, that I've been doing. And so I'm solely focused on making it the best I can possibly make this season, this moment in time, right? But how am I feeling about it? Oh man, it is an emotional roller coaster. When I was recording the episode that was kicking off this year, episode number 130, and I was talking about it, and I got to the end of that episode, and I talked about what was happening and the closing the chapter and all that. I got all emotional about it. So it's not gonna. I mean, it's in my head. I know it's ending. I've loved doing it. I love doing it. Not past tense. The last episode, though, probably I'll be a freaking hot mess, right? Over it, just because it has been, podcasting has opened up so many doors for me. It has had such an impact on my personal and my professional life that I never expected would have happened when I hit the record button the first time. So yeah, it's a 5-year journey or 5-season journey, and it's going to be really emotional when it comes to an end. But I'm okay with that. It is okay to be brave and to share your feelings, right? And for me, honestly, I want to make sure that the people listening, the people that tune in, the couple of hundred people that tune in every week, I want them to know how grateful that I am for them and the gift they gave me for coming on this journey with me.
But you're gonna make me cry. Awesome. I need to correct something. By the way, Soda, you can start putting your questions down there. You say you have questions for Sid.
No,
You
I'm
can
scared of her questions. You kidding me?
You, you can start Soda lately has been a firecracker, but I feel like sometimes people need to be around you a little bit to allow themselves to really flourish with there, compared to Paula, who just comes in straight like, you're gonna love me or hate me, I don't care, this is who I am. And then some people kind of like marinate the situation. That's Soda. And me and I have gotten so close lately because I've realized she's as crazy as me. I love crazy people. But back to you. I need to correct this. So actually, the link you sent me wasn't the first episode I listened, but it was the episode that made me leave a review. Oh. The first episode I actually listened was your first episode of your last season.
So episode 130, where I talked about what's happening.
Because in the beginning, I really thought you're just pulling our legs. Like, I was just like, okay, yeah, it's coming to an end. But once you announce it on your, it is real, right? It's like, oh shit, this is happening. I even shed a little tear, like, oh my God, this is for real. I really need to get Sid over here now. So
let's, I mean, first off, I'm glad to be here, right? And excited to have this conversation with you. But every ending there's a new beginning on the other side of the door, right? And that's how I'm looking at it. It's like this chapter is ending, and what can I do next? What can I do next that will have the same, if not more, impact on people? Because my podcast has had such an impact that I didn't know was coming. I didn't know it was going to happen, right? But what can I do next to help more people, to empower more people?
And I think that's the exciting part, knowing, yes, okay, this is coming to an end, but oh my God, what's next? Like, you get to look forward to what is next. And especially when you've already been through this journey and like, I didn't know what I was doing with this shit, but look at all the outcome that came from it. So now you feel like I can do whatever I want. I just gotta figure out what I want or my purpose. Oh my God. Oh, okay. So there goes Soda's first question. What's the craziest thing you've done involving office?
Okay, so I have two answers to this question, and you got to define crazy, and I'm going to take the nice side of crazy. So, the craziest thing that I've done. Oh my gosh, there's a couple of things that come to mind. So, and it really wasn't crazy, but we were doing a presentation. A mock-up presentation, which is where you set up sample furniture for people to come and look at. And I had been working on this project for about 6 months, basically leaving Michigan because we lived in Michigan at the time, leaving Michigan every Monday, flying to Richmond, Virginia, and then coming back on Fridays for like 6 months. Me and a whole team of people pursuing this large, significantly like 10 building, 10,000 people campus project.
Did you say for 6 months?
Yeah, for 6 months, at least 6 months.
The airport people at this point knew you.
Well, the hotel people knew us because we stayed at the same hotel every week, right? But it was we were doing this mock-up, and we're getting close to the end of the process, right? And this is not really crazy, but this is a crazy thing that happened, right? We're putting this desk together. Our presentation is like in 2 hours. And we're putting this desk together for all the private office furniture. And it's a wood desk. And we recently changed the way the product goes together. And we went from not to be too technical, a wooden dowel. So, I have a wooden dowel with glue. We switched from that to a cam lock, and cam lock's very popular today when you put furniture together. Excuse me. So this is the first time we had done it. First production off the line of this mock-up. And so the guys put the desk together, the installers putting the desk together, and it was upside down. And they went to flip it over to get it right side up so that we could show it to them. And the desk went, and the whole thing fell apart.
And I just was this presentation?
This was like the presentation was like in an hour. All the cam locks had popped out. And I just looked at them and I went, I can't. You got an hour to fix it. And I left. And I came back and it was set up. I think they used duct tape to set it up, mind you. But it was set up, right? So I will never, ever, ever forget that. I just watched that desk go, you can hear the cam locks, right? Fall apart. I just said, I can't. This is a multi-million-dollar opportunity and the desk just freaking fell apart. Are you kidding me? So yeah, that's probably the craziest thing that happened to me that I can remember.
But at least it didn't happen during the presentation, right?
Oh, thank God. I could only imagine. We would have lost. We actually won that project. Ended up being the largest project I've ever won in my career. And it is today, the company that I worked for, it is their single largest client today.
Oh, wow.
And that was actually before my daughter was born. She's 21. So that would be 23 years ago. The final presentation happened 2 weeks after September 11th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's when the timing was of everything. So.
Oh, wow.
But now, go ahead. So we'll have another answer to the question though.
I'm gonna let you answer that, but shout out to duct tape. If they use duct tape saved you.
They did use. I think they did use duct tape. There's lots of uses for duct tape. Let's be clear.
I mean, Valencia, whatever that big, decided to make a bracelet of a duct tape. So clearly, people need duct tape, and they're selling it like $1,500. But it looks like a duct tape roll, and it's just as Valencia. I'm like, oh wow.
All right, I'm gonna tell you a story. So my son was probably 8 or 9. Okay. And he was staying with a buddy around the corner and I was off in Dallas somewhere doing something. Teresa, my wife, was out of town, I think. And the dad called me and said, hey, Jackson fell playing basketball and I think he might've broken his arm. I'm like, oh man. I said, I'm on my way home. I'll be there in a few minutes. I got there. Sure enough, he broke his arm, but I got there. And his arm, Paula, no lie, is up like this. They'd made a makeshift cast for him out of duct tape and pencils. And that's how I took him to the emergency clinic, was with his arm with duct tape and pencils. You're
surrounded by duct tape fixes. Like
I know it, right?
Every fix of you is duct tape. But I'm gonna take it a little bit back from our topic because you just mentioned that your daughter just she's 21, right?
Yep.
And I was raised by my dad, and I'm just curious, right? Your daughter being 21, how I remember when I was turning 21, my dad called me like literally in the middle, or midnight. And he called me and we were I was in Malaysia at this time. And he called me and was like, please stop growing. And then please don't get pregnant. Like 21 was the gate opening of me getting pregnant. But he was really he was excited they turned 21, but it was also all these fears of, oh my God, my baby girl is literally now 21. And how are you feeling as a girl dad?
So it's very interesting. When she went off to college, I would check Life 360 occasionally, or actually too frequently. And I'd be like, she got home at 2 o'clock in the morning. What the hell? What is she doing out till 2 o'clock in the morning? And I was complaining about it. My wife said, you're going to have to quit looking. And then
you're going to drive yourself crazy.
Right, yeah. then I started remembering like how I acted when I was in college, right? And thank God there was no Life 360 when I was in college, right? But what I learned to do is, as a parent, I don't know if Mark's still here. He probably has a comment to this too. But what I learned as a parent was, I did my job. I did my job. And
Amen.
hopefully my wife and I instilled the right values, the right morals, and the right decision making for her and for him, right? But we have to let them fly. They have to fly. They have to make mistakes on their own. I can't, as hard as it is to say, because I want to protect both of them, right? I want to protect them from falling. I want to protect them from getting hurt. I can't, because they need to. They need to learn. They need to stumble. So I have to learn to let them fly. So I don't look at Life 360 anymore. I call and text her, but both of them, right, to check in with them to see how they're doing. But I got to let them fly. And that was a decision that I realized while she was in college, and when she turned 21, I was really emotional because freaking that makes me old. But I just have to let them fly. I have to go let them live their life and be there to support them when things get tough, because it will get tough. Right.
That's so true, and that's what also my dad said. He was like, I have done all I can. I've given you a good life. So at the end of the day, you gotta make decisions on yourself. And I like, we didn't have Life 360 at that time, but thank God I started going to a boarding school way young, so my dad was already used to that. So me going to college or anything wasn't new. I was moving countries or anything, but then for him it was the little things. While some God, that was the big things, like, oh my God, they're moving out. Oh my God. But me, it was those little things. And because most of the time I didn't leave home. And back at that time, we really didn't have social media compared to here, where your kids constantly post, so you can kind of know. For us, so like everything that's happening, what we are doing in college, you're not going to see them. There's no pictures. There's no proof of this.
Well, she is a active poster on social media. He is not. He is an
guys
observer.
are never. Yeah, most
he
guys,
actually he's more like my wife. My wife's an observer, a stalker on social media, where I'm a poster, my daughter's a poster. But it was really interesting, Paula. We dropped him off at school in May or August of last year, and it's really weird coming home to a house that for 18 years, there had been the pitter pat of little feet everywhere, not just theirs, but their friends, right? It's really weird coming home to a quiet house. And we stopped on the way home and spent the night, because we left his school late, and we spent the night in Oklahoma City, and we went to get something to eat and got our drink. And I just looked there and I went, kind of my margarita, it was a Mexican restaurant. I had my margarita in my hand, and I went, we did good. Now the rest is up to them. We did good.
Yeah,
right?
you really did. You did. And by the way, you have a beautiful family. I'm a stalker too. When I start getting to know people in my life, I start stalking their family. Like how I started stalking Mark's wife and befriended that. Like everybody, I give a chance. First, I start stalking. Then I slowly, depending on how our relationship grows, then I slowly find my way. Hi, I'm this. I know your husband from this. Nice to meet you. I'm part of your family now.
That's hysterical. You're a stalker. Well, thank you. They are, we did good. I'm really proud of both of them and where they're headed and what they're doing. And, I'm here to support them in any way that I can. So.
And it's funny because, well, not really funny, but kinda, but, 2024, right? You became an empty nester. So one chapter ended. Your podcast is coming to an end. Like it's your year of closing chapters and new beginning.
So I wouldn't view it as closing chapters, though. I would view it as it's a year of new beginnings. It's a year of transformation. It's a year of new opportunities, right?
Yeah, but just like when you read a book, right? Chapter 37, you have to close the chapter to get to chapter 38. So you have left that one chapter where now, oh my God, the house was filled with kids. Well, you only have 2 kids, but kids always have their friends, right? The friends over, the sleepovers, the hanging out, the
yelling at them because they're playing Fortnite till 2 or 3 in the morning and making lots of noise. And we don't have to do that anymore.
And every parent has that child who has that friend who never goes home, right? They're so safe in your home that you're like, I know you have your own house. Like, why are you always?
That's great.
And now you even miss miss that. You're like, man, I even miss that kid being here who was not ours, but always here.
Yep.
So that came, and then now this and this. So it's really a year of new beginnings for you.
Yes, it is. I'm excited.
Me too. I'm excited for you, especially to just know what's coming next. Because as I said, now that I listen to your podcast, I'm like, oh shit, I kind of don't want Sid to end but then I'm also very excited about what's to come next. And I know for us, one in Empowered Podcasting room, we have thrown ideas, right? There's been a book, there's been a coffee table book, there's been a new podcast, there's been storytelling. So now we're in this like, what is Sid gonna do next? Like, oh my God.
It's a really, really interesting question. And I'm thinking about a lot of different things. But I don't know the answer to that question right now.
And you don't need to know right now.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Sometimes, the answer comes at the time where you didn't even expect to have the answer, right? Because and this is what you always say, because I remember that time when we were trying to pressure you to do your book so we can do a book signing at our event, because why the fuck not, right? Somebody has to, and then we were like, and you said something was like, it's all about timing, right?
Yep.
When the timing feels like it felt to you, it felt like this is the time to close this chapter, and this is when the next chapter begins. The time will tell. So I'm in that place right now where I am since last year, and that's why I decided to have Shit Happens. I was like, let me try to do it differently. Maybe that will give me the push. But I feel like I'm losing interest in podcasting in this world, even though I enjoy it. But this was like, maybe if I do live stream where it takes all the editing and all the stress of behind the scenes, makes it less, I will find. But then I also didn't do it right, because I left my calendar open, and sometimes I was having like 5-6 shows a day, and I was like, okay, this is not also overwhelming. But because at the moment I don't have a job, right? I'm still in that trying to figure out my next steps in life. So I was like, well, since I don't have anything else, why would I have a specific time I can, at least in my head, to keep myself going and moving. But now I feel like I'm getting drained. I'm no longer enjoying it. That's why I didn't even apply to speak, like, because I really feel like I am losing myself, and not in a way that I like. So what advice would you give a person who doesn't know whether the time is to call it quits, or they just need a break to go figure themselves out, or they, because I'm like, what advice would you give me right now?
Okay, so there's a couple of things that come to my mind. First off is it is 100% absolutely okay to take a break, to take a step back. I heard you say earlier you're taking a break at the end of this month. It is absolutely okay to take a break and step back, right? It is also okay to give yourself grace and to say, I need the time to figure out what I want to do. Like, you don't have to put the pressure on yourself to do something every day, right? Or to do a live stream every week, or to keep a certain schedule. You don't have to do that, right? You got to give yourself grace to figure it out. And then the next thing I would say to you is, try new things, right? So it's also about, what do you love about podcasting?
Talking to people, hearing their stories, because it fills my cup whenever I bring, because I pick my guests, right? I don't randomly just want people to, even though I have a form, but that form is for once I pick you, I send you the link and the form. But because it's conversations that end up inspiring, motivating, fueling my cup, right? And it's funny because most people bring their guests to see what they can do to other people, like to their listeners. I bring my guests to see what they can. I'm selfish on my podcast. It's mostly about inspire me, motivate me, because I'm in this journey of learning myself and figuring myself out, and unlearning some of the shit. And that's why I love having these deep conversations with people, because it makes me go back and look like, oh my God, So I thought I was over this shit, but I can do this. Or I thought I was good at this, but I can get better. Or it just makes me be a better person, which I hope if I am feeling that way, then of course somebody else is going to be doing that. But it has to be first with me because I'm selfish like that.
So Paula, so I'm not going to give you any advice because you already know the answers to your questions. You just need to discover them. You already know what you want to do, what you need to do to be fulfilled. You just need somebody asking you the right questions, right? And as a coach, it's not a coach's job to give you the answers. It's a coach's job to help you discover the answers to your own questions, right? And because here's the thing, you're going to ask this question to 10 people and you're going to get 10 different responses. And then you're going to sit there and go, well, what the hell am I supposed to do now? I got 10 people told me 10 different things. What should I do? The answers lie right here. Trust your gut, trust your feeling. I learned that not too long ago, that when something, Jackie would say, when the universe puts it in front of you, right? Listen, jump towards that. But I want to tell you a story. I don't know if you heard me tell this story. Were you in Clubhouse the other day, last Friday, when I shared my win?
No.
Okay, let me tell you a story. I met a guy named Diego Cortez. And I was at a real estate conference. It was also a bit professional development conference because I'm learning about real estate investing. Yes. And he was one of the keynotes. And he talked about how, very similar to your path, he immigrated into the United States when he was 11 years old. His family came in, brought him in. And every step of the way, he was 15, sorry. Every step of the way, a door closed. Not just closed, slammed in his face. You can't get a driver's license, right? Because doesn't have work papers or a green card or any kind of papers, right? Then he gets his papers under the Obama administration, and then Trump takes them away. So he had it, and then it went away. He was told he couldn't go to college. He was told that he couldn't get a job because he didn't have the appropriate paperwork, right? And then he was told he couldn't do this and he couldn't do that. And he said, every time somebody shut the door, I just found another way. Today, this young man who is 26 years old owns what I believe to be a multi-million-dollar real estate business where he is a broker and employs real estate. He still is not a legal citizen, does not have his green card, does not have his work papers, but he owns a business that employs real estate professionals buying and selling houses. He's also a real estate investor. He's also a TEDx speaker, right? But what he said, and this is what I would say to you, when the door closes, jump through the window. And that's what he did. He said, when they slammed the door in my face, I jumped through the window, not knowing what was on the other side. So Paula, jump through the window. Be brave. Summons the courage that's inside of you to do what you want to do, to what fills your cup, right? To what makes you happy. All of us need to do that. Each and every one of us.
Thank you for sharing that. I needed to hear that because, believe it or not, I don't talk about this in this way. Sometimes when people tell me, oh, you can get this job, you can do this, people don't know my situation because I am in Diego's situation. Mm-hmm. And I have to deal with, it's not that easy compared to how people, and you can't have this conversation with just anybody because people don't understand it. And some people, depending on their beliefs in their politicals, you can just anyway. But as Soda said, Sid is so wise, and that's why I always say I really listen to you, and that's why I've never asked anybody this question. Like, I am here on this position, what should I do? There was a reason why I asked you, because I know even if you won't give me advice, you will share something that will make me go deeper into that by my own. Mm-hmm. So just like you shared this story, I needed to hear this story because I'm in that position, even though most people don't know. Most people just see, oh, Paula is always just happy shit. Oh, Paula, you have a master's degree, but why do you work retail? But you don't know. I have to do certain shit because bills gotta be paid, life gotta
Mhm.
go on, but it's not where
Yep.
I wanna be. And it's the things out of my control.
Mhm.
I can't force the government to do.
Mm-mm. You're right. And it is hard to talk about because it is right now, especially right now, it is a very hot political button, right? For many different reasons. But regardless of how you believe, what's important is that you have control of your own destiny. It is within
Amen.
your grasp, right? And here's the thing, just like I had to learn with my kids, you're going to stumble. You're going to fall. You're going to scrape your knee, bruise your elbow, right? Spill your vodka cranberry all over the floor and get somebody mad at you, right? So that's going to happen, right? Because that's called life. But I have this philosophy about life, right? My philosophy is when you go and you try something new and you put yourself out there, that's the first step. But the second step is if you don't get the result that you wanted, you get the lesson that you needed. You don't
Amen.
fail, right? I don't believe there's any such thing as failure because life's about lessons. Life's about teaching us things, right? It's up to us to whether or not we heed that lesson, right? So I basically tell people there's no such thing as failure. You either get the result you wanted or you get the lesson that you needed. And then when you get that lesson there's 4 questions that I believe you need to ask yourself. You ready? Because in every situation, I believe that this happens, right? First off, what went right? You tried something, right? And even though maybe you didn't get the result you wanted, and your brain's telling you failed, but you didn't, something in the process went right. So what went right? The
Mm-hmm.
second question is, what went wrong? If you didn't get the result you needed, something didn't work out. So what is it that went wrong? Write this down, right? Write down what went wrong. The third question is, what did I learn? Because we get the lesson, and if we don't learn anything from the lesson, if we don't acknowledge the lesson, right? What good is the lesson? So what did you learn from that lesson? And then the fourth question, and I believe probably the most important question is, what am I going to do differently the next time? Because that's what I'm telling you. Get your butt up, brush off your pants, and go again. Learn from what you did the first time, but get up and do it again, but do it differently based on what you learned, because you're going to get you keep working at it. You're going to get the result that you wanted, right? So what went right? What went wrong? What did I learn? And what am I going to do differently the next time?
I love that. You see, and this is why I needed. I feel like, Sid, you really know perfect timing, because I'm glad we are having this conversation today,
Mhm.
because I really needed to hear this. And you're right. I'm also a person who tells people there's no failure. You tried something, either it didn't work, that means it wasn't for you. Either
Mhm.
you learned a way to do it differently, or maybe
Mhm.
you also realize, oh shit, I actually don't like this shit. It's okay
Mhm.
to quit if you don't like something, because sometimes we get these ideas in our heads that I want to do this or I need to do this,
Mhm.
depending on, sometimes we are, oh, my friend is doing this, so I want to do this. Or because they're doing it, because there's so many podcasters, I need to start a podcast. But it's not for everybody. And sometimes, at least you tried and you realize, that way you
Mhm.
don't live with regret, like, oh, I wish I had tried. You tried, you realize it's not for you. But even when you realize it's not for you, you probably learned what's for you. Like
Mhm.
maybe you hate the podcasting, but you like talking to people. So maybe you're meant to be guest instead of a host. Or
Mhm.
maybe you like the content creation part, but not the podcasting. So just create
Mhm.
content.
Yeah.
So there's all these ways. I remember even when I was dating, right? People are like, oh my God, all these breakups. I'm like, don't take them as losses, because not every relationship is supposed to take you to the altar.
Mhm.
Some relationships make you learn about yourself. Like, what do I want in my next relationship? What did I do wrong? Because most of the time we're pointing fingers at the other person. They did this, they did this, they did this. Okay, but what
Mhm.
did you personally do?
So, Paul, you bring up a really, really valid point here is that in any situation, you cannot control the other person. You cannot control their behavior. You can't control their response, right? You just can't. All that you can do is control and change and work on you. So focus on you, because comparison is the thief of joy.
And that's what I it's so amazing you say that. 'Cause yesterday I was having alive with this guy called Brian. I met him at Podfest this year, and we're talking. I was like, I think the reason most people don't wanna get into this growth journey of unlearning shit or figuring themselves out is because they're gonna realize that there's shit wrong with you too. And nobody wants to realize that there's something wrong with me. They always want.
I'll say it a little differently. People are scared of growth.
They
People
are
are scared of discovering who they are, and they're scared of doing the work that's needed in order to change. Right?
because you have to dig in, you have to
Yes.
pull out all this shit, you have to unlearn the shit you thought you knew, you have to accept that there were times I was wrong, there were times that yes I was right, but I could have done it better or said it better or did it in a different way, and that's why most people don't want to go through the growth journey.
Well, I think it's important to remember that your beliefs, you need to go listen to episode number 131 with Rex Miller, where we talk about the genius spark and how you're born as a creative when you're young. Because what happens is your belief system that you're unlearning, or your things you're unlearning, were taught to you by your parents. Your beliefs are their beliefs, right? And so what you're unlearning, what I'm unlearning, what Soda's unlearning, everybody's unlearning, is the beliefs your parents said this is the way things should be, right? And this is because that's their belief system. And if you listen to Rex Miller talk about this, he talks about how as you get older, your opinions and your creativity changes, and you lose your creativity because you're told to lose your creativity because your parents implement their values on you. So, I mean, it's really, really interesting, but kudos to you. Congratulations to you for doing the work. Congratulations to you for asking the question, right? For looking at what is it, because you go back to the podcast thing, look at what you love to do and do more of it, right? I mean, you did a huge part of it, said, you know what? I hate the editing. I can't afford to outsource it. I hate the editing. What can I do that takes that burden off my shoulders? And look at you. You're doing live streams, no editing, right? And look at the smile on your face as you're thinking about this, right? Then do more live streams, right?
I love that.
I mean, just do more of what brings you joy. Do more of what you love, because guess what? Life is too short.
That's why and you're so true. And that's why I'm taking a break from social media, because I love content creating. I just hate the pressure of constantly creating, because social media makes you think you have to
hold up. Who's putting the pressure on you to constantly create?
Social media.
Who is social media? Who is social media?
Like every time when I go on social media and I see constantly people posting
Comparison.
and exactly.
Why are you comparing yourself to other people?
I don't know. It's my mind, bro. My mind.
Social media is not sending you a text message every day saying, Paula, you need to create content today.
You never know. Maybe Mark Zuckerberg is lucky texting.
He might be in your ear chirping. But seriously, so there's nothing that says you have to create content every day. You're telling yourself that, right? You're comparing yourself to other people and what you see other people doing, right?
That's so true.
That's what you have to stop. You have to stop that, and you got to do what brings you joy. If it brings you joy to do Instagram lives every day a week, then do Instagram lives every day a week, right? If it brings you joy to create content while you're walking down the street and hold the camera up to talk about whatever, then do that.
Oh my God, I miss Dominic's footsteps. Was there footnotes or footsteps? Because he used to
something like that. Yeah, right. But you're listening to the chatter around you that you don't need to listen to. You need to listen right here, friend.
Thank you, friend. And that's why I needed to have you here. But also, I'm really going to go listen to that episode 131, because you're so trained. I think the reason I was also able to work on me, and I think it came in 2020 when I was dealing with breakup, and I was the person who kept on moving from relationship to relationship. And I had to sit down and be like, I'm not getting in another relationship. I really need to work on me and get down on me and be happy being myself and just live a life, because I was always the person who is surrounded by people because I hated being alone. And that's why I jumped into a relationship, because I didn't want to be alone or anything. And now even my brother is like, I hope you're not alone, because this you being alone is really annoying me, because I am literally okay being by myself. I party by myself. My old house, my balcony, I would make it nice. I'll listen to my country music, dance around, drink my beer. Like, I am perfectly, I would take myself to dinners and movies. Like, I
Yep.
am now in a place where and because I did the work, but also because shout out to my dad, yo. Because my mom is still very old school and that's a whole other thing. But my dad, he's the person who also, even though he taught me certain things, he's in that process where he's unlearning shit, and he'd come to me and be like, I'm sorry I told you this and this and this. You can do this. Like, it's okay. So for him also, because he's doing the work, and I'm like, if my dad, who is the one who told me this, this has to be what it is, he's now coming and telling me, yo, that ain't it. Like, if that's the way you wanna do it. Like, and I'm like, even though I didn't need the permission, but it shows me that we are in this world to unlearn the shit we were told. Because my dad is unlearning that shit. So, and I just want to bring up. Soda said, Sid, I need to interview you about this subject. This is gold.
Well, thank you for that, and I'm happy to be interviewed. Just let me know when you want to do it. I would love to talk more about it.
And that's
Because
why
I
I
think
say
it's an important topic.
And that's why I say people need to talk. Like, see the way you talk and just make us, even though we know what we're supposed to do, but the way you phrase it, or you make us okay, it's like, oh shit, Sid is right. I gotta do this. But we are coming down to the hour, and I wanted to bring this up
Okay.
because Sid, when I was I found out you had another podcast, the Amazing Entrepreneurship Club,
Okay,
which
let's work on saying that word, entrepreneur.
entrepreneur.
The Amazing Entrepreneurs Club, yes.
Yes, which ran from November 2nd in 2021 to March 29, 2022. So what made you end that one?
It's really interesting. So
because you were doing two podcasts at a time, because yours started March 19 in 2020. And it's funny because you ended it in March 29th, and your trend started in March 19, which is also my brother's birthday.
So I will tell you that I didn't actually end the Amazing Entrepreneurs Club. I just walked away from creating content for it. I didn't end it. I didn't make some big announcement. I just quit creating content for it. And there was a lot of shit happening in my life at that point in time with people that I had surrounded myself by mistakenly. And I was feeling emotionally in my head about things, and I needed to remove that stuff from my life in order to heal and move forward. Right. And so I removed all of that stuff from my life, and I stopped that podcast. Now, should I pick it back up? Probably so, because I love talking to entrepreneurs about their journey. I love them sharing tips about what made them successful. But at that time, it was the right thing to remove anything that was remotely associated with those people that were in my life at that time. I needed to remove from my life so that I could move forward.
I hear you. Because even me in 2020, when I was figuring myself out, I had to remove certain people in my life. And it's not like beef or anything. It's just like our season has come to an end. We are going through different journeys. And I'm sorry, I just can't take you with me in the next journey.
Do you hear what you just said? Do you hear what you just said?
Season came to an end. I knew you were going to.
Yeah. So I have a question, though. I want to ask Soda. Soda, you only asked me one question. You said you had lots of questions. We got like a couple of minutes. Ask me another question. I'm happy to answer it. Right.
But I think also she was like, she was also saying, I think the question I asked you, she said, I need this question too in the same situation. Yeah. But yeah, see, so while we wait for Soda in case she has another question, we have like 7 minutes left. I don't like that because I was enjoying this too much.
So let me tell you, are you going to ask me a question, or can I tell you a story? You tell me.
Go ahead and tell me a story, and then I'll ask you my last final question to close this.
So when I started my business in 2017, and I said, I'm going to be a coach, right? I'm going to hang up a sign on my door and say I'm a coach. and it felt creepy. Coaching people, it felt weird. I felt like I was their boss. I felt like I was telling them what to do and consulting with them. It was felt more consulting than coaching. So I said, you know what? If I'm going to hang up a sign that says I'm a coach, I'm going to go get the credentials to become a coach. And so I went through this process of finding programs and found one. Went through this whole interview process until we got to the price, and she told me the price. And I'm like, what the? No, sorry. So I kept coaching, and it just kept feeling weird. And so finally, a few months later, I called back and I said, okay, I'm ready. I'm going to suck it up. I'm ready. And on March 17th, right around St. Patrick's Day.
What's with you in March?
I don't know, but it was sometime in March. I have to go back and look. I walked into a room and met 25 people that changed my life forever. And I spent a year with them. And I spent a year with them learning what limiting beliefs were, learning what gremlins are, learning what coaching really meant, and what if reframing and acknowledgments and all that are, right? And I worked on myself during that time frame, right? And so it had a huge impact on me. And I say all that to say that journey of that year with those 25 people that had a profound impact on me is what has given me the ability to have the conversation that I'm having with you today.
Well, thank you to those 25 people in that room, because I needed the seed. I don't know about the seed before March 17th, but
yeah, they had a huge impact on me. So I see her question, by the way.
Soda, what is you like? I feel like our questions are really like,
I can answer this question though. This is hysterical. So in the world of real office furniture, Sid just sells the crap. I don't put any of it together. They're installers that put that together. But Soda, we bought our first rental property and we furnished it in July of last year. And we had a lot of fun doing it. My wife literally, I think, bought out every piece of furniture at Wayfair. Felt like it. All the boxes arriving every day. And so we loaded all that crap up in a U-Haul and we went down to Nacogdoches where our house is and started putting all the furniture together. And we got to the bar stools about an hour into she's putting this together and I'm putting that together. About an hour into those blankety blank bar stools, I looked at her and I said, I'm just going to walk away from this.
I was expecting the story to go different.
Nope. I said, I'm just going to walk away from this. This is not anything that I need to do. And so I went to, which is great because she ended up getting them together and it was hard. The screws, they were all wonky. The set wasn't square. Right. But I'm like, I have to walk away. Then we go to the sofa to put the sofa together. And it's one of these like snap it in and you screw in, has these little posts that come up.
They make it seem so easy, but it never is.
Until we got to the corner and there was no post in the corner. I'm like, okay, there's no post in the corner. So I go to the Lowe's.
See, you couldn't find the hole?
No, there was no post. The hole was there was no post.
Oh.
Right. And so we go to the Lowe's because not for reasons to discuss today, I will never shop at a Home Depot ever again. But I said, I'm going to get some flat brackets. I'm going to get a power screwdriver. I had my power screwdriver. I'm going to get some screws and some flat brackets. I'm going to screw this SOB together. And we did it. It worked. I told my daughter, I said, don't move it. You can't take it apart. Don't move it. We sat on it and jumped on it to make sure that it worked. So Soda, yeah, we actually, yes, she does.
Did you just jump on it? Oh,
yeah. No. We jumped on it. My daughter's house. But Soda, here's the short answer to this question. Of course she watches me. Have you seen me lately? Have you seen how good I look? I mean, come on. I look sexy in my shorts and a t-shirt putting furniture together. What the heck?
We need a video while you're putting furniture to see how your wife is reacting.
I'm about to do it. I bought new patio furniture from Walmart.com.
So
and
we
I'm about
need
to
content.
go out to the patio. About to the garage and put patio furniture together.
We need content how watching you so we can. But you did start, was it yoga or hiking or something?
She's talking about my video of putting furniture together, new content.
But no, when you became an empty nester, you started trying new things.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Do you still go to yoga?
No, it wasn't yoga. It was Pilates. Here's why I don't go to Pilates is because I started traveling a lot more. and I'm paying $100 and something a month to be a member of this Pilates club, and I can only go one time a month. And I'm like, that's ridiculous.
That's a waste of money.
So I canceled the Pilates, and then the weather got super cold, and it's just now getting nice enough where you can actually go hiking again, right? So, but I love hiking. So going hiking in May in the Smoky Mountains with some friends.
All right, we need content for that. But but Sid, as we come to an end, like, oh my God, this was so much fun. Thank you for talking to me. You have really inspired me, and I'll be reaching out because I feel like there's a conversation that I need to have deeper with you from what we spoke about right now. But as we come to an end, because oh my God, I have another live in an hour right now. But let the people know where they can find you, and how they can support you, and what they can look forward to, and any advice on somebody who's not sure on when to call it quits, like a message, like what do they need to realize it's time.
So that's like 5 questions, right? It's called
you
question
can go
stacking.
you are a podcaster,
right?
You can go on.
So the first thing is, if you want to follow along with me and my journey, the best place to do that is on LinkedIn. You can find me there really easy. You can also follow me at Coach Sid Meadows on Instagram. I probably post more real life stuff there. Instagram more business related.
Is that TikTok?
Yeah. Yes, I love TikTok. I'm just not a huge creator on TikTok. You can always go to my website at sidmeadows.com and check that out. It needs to be updated, so don't judge that it says things that I don't do anymore. But okay. Yeah, follow along, connect with me. If you do connect with me, especially on LinkedIn, send me a note and tell you heard me here on Talk Shit with P, so that I know why you're coming to me or why you're connecting with me. So that would be great. Right. So Paula, what I would tell anybody is just try it. Take one step. Stick your toe in the water. You might actually find out that you love it. So try new things, do different things, and try new things.
I'm trying to be a comedian. I'm trying my foot in comedy world.
That should be interesting.
I bring my best shit to Charlotte. I bring my
yeah. See, Paula, I think, from what I know of you, I would love to see you up on a stage telling your story.
You see, sadly, it won't be in Charlotte, but we'll make that happen.
I didn't apply to be a speaker either, by the way.
It's my birthday weekend. Plus, I figured like maybe I am coming to just meet people and have fun and learn. But also, I figured because I'm part of the Embark podcasting, in case you need help back around that time, I don't want to also be like, so I'm just coming to be free. Like, if you need to put me to work, put me to work. If you need me to entertain people, I'm good at entertaining. So
I'm going to tell the committee that on Monday, then put Paula to work.
Don't do that. Let them figure it out by themselves.
Hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate you having me on. It was a great conversation. It went really fast.
It really does. 1 hour, when you're actually enjoying a conversation, 1 hour goes so fast. But when you have to pull shit out from people, you're like, it's only 20 minutes. But I have to go on another live with Rebecca.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for hanging out with me, Soda. Thank you for hanging out with us. Everybody was watching live on Shit Happens. Thank you for hanging out with us. I'll see you in another Shit Happens with Rebecca. Widow your way. Love is not dead. Just my husband. That's going to be interesting. So hang out with us more. Sid, I'll talk to you soon.
Everyone.
Thank you.